So hey guys, welcome to another episode of our Get to Know series. Today I'm joined by someone that most of you will probably recognize. That's Pete, or as you probably know him, TheRazoredEdge. So hey, thanks for joining me.
No problem, man. Thanks for having me on. So you say that most people might recognize, but I get a lot of shit about not having like a webcam on during my streams and
Oh
stuff like
really?
that. And so you may notice I have one on right now. So people are going, why is that the case? That you can't have one on during your streams? I can't like simultaneously have gameplay and a webcam at the same time because my PC is terrible, like so awful. But yeah, my name is Peter, otherwise known. Why am I holding this? Why my name is Peter, otherwise known as the Razored Edge. I'm a Gears of War content creator on YouTube and recently partnered on Twitch as well, which is kind of nice to say.
Yeah, yeah. I saw you were struggling for a little bit trying to get that partner, but you did get that. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, it was definitely a long road more than anything. Like I've had a couple of runs at Twitch, we'll call it. My most successful being with Grand Theft Auto, actually. I randomly blew up one Christmas. It was did you play Grand Theft Auto at all that
No.
much? It was the very first Christmas update. For those of you who play GTA 5, you know what I'm talking about. It's the very first time they had snow in GTA Online. And I'd been streaming on Twitch like fairly consistently at the time, and for whatever reason, it was just around this time where a big streamer was supposed to be on. I don't know who it was. He never came on, and somehow his viewers kind of ended up in my stream. And this is before hosting or anything, so a lot of them came from there. And then Rockstar ended up kind of like tweeting me about the stream and like mentioning it and stuff. So
Oh,
I
nice.
had like 4,000 people in there. So it was really kind of like wow, kind of an extreme experience in comparison to what I'd gone from. And then the days after, I had like around consistently 300, 400 viewers every day afterward. But then I had to go back to college and be a responsible young adult, and that kind of died off in that regard. But then back to it seriously with the Gears of War 4 beta, and forward with that.
Yeah, cool. So
Yeah.
one of the things, obviously, these streams help all of us get to know each other better, helps the community get to know people. And one of the
hmm
best things to figure out, like who a person is or figure out stuff about them, is what they do for a living. So, like you said,
Okay.
you were streaming, you went back to school, you're back streaming, doing YouTube stuff again.
hmm
So I guess how did that all start for you?
How did like YouTube start for me?
Yeah.
It was I think a lot of YouTubers that come from the like Gears YouTubers in particular that come from the era that I come from will tell you a similar story. There was a montage from a dude called Nismo Joe, and it was very basics, like just singular standstill headshots, and the music to the song or the music to the montage was a bunch of like do you remember when you could play music through your Xbox 360? So the music was just random compilations of parts of songs that he just so happened to be playing. And for whatever reason, it was really dope. And it was like the first Gears montage to have like, I think it had a couple million views.
Oh
And then
wow.
it got removed from YouTube like a few years ago or whatever. But basically, I was kind of like inspired by that. That kind of caught on. Like that was when Gearsopedia was really at its peak. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of like what got me into the idea of content creation.
So if you didn't do content creation, what do you think, or what did you think you wanted to do when you were growing up, type thing?
I was always one of those kids that like never had an idea of what I want to do.
Yeah.
I was always so very confused, never certain, that kind of thing. Like I was going through school because I had to. Like
Okay.
that's what you're brought up, kind of knowing
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But I imagine it would be something in video. I wanted to do like a video and film course in a college nearby, or something in like multimedia, something like that. I feel like I'd be doing something quite similar.
Okay.
But it did take me a while to really know. I thought I wanted to do computer science, and that was totally the wrong route. I was like, I love games and I like computer stuff, so maybe I'm good at that. No, code is not the way to go if that's kind of your thinking.
Yeah, I loved coding. I did some coding stuff in high school, but I quickly realized that's not what I want to do for a living.
Yeah, it's a lonely kind of experience. Like honestly, this might get dark a bit, but like the YouTubing side of things can get kind of lonely in a certain sense. But that's months shut in on your own kind of thing. Like even with just short-term projects that I had in college doing code, it really is kind of like you feel trapped in a certain sense. It is but shouts to people that like enjoy it, like and get a kick out of it. Like there are people out there like that, and that's amazing. I mean, they're the developers we know, so you know.
Yeah. Well, let's see. So most of the people watching this channel love Gears. So let's transition into your Gears content creation. Well, first of all, before the content creation, how did you get into Gears?
So over here we call it secondary school, but I think in the States it's high school, right? Maybe.
Okay.
So basically a classmate of mine, I didn't have an Xbox 360 very long, and I was still someone who gamed on like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, OG Xbox, played LAN multiplayer more than anything. So I was like someone who's kind of like fresh new into online multiplayer, and the basic thing was or sorry, not the basic thing. I don't know where I was going there, but the basic thing was is that one of my classmates said to me, he goes, "Oh, there's this game called Gears of War. Like I'm obsessed with it." And this was like this was early to mid 2007, I'd say, kind of like March, something like that. And he brought it up to me, and I ended up going to my local GameStop, buying it pre-owned. Sorry, gaming industry. And I brought it home, and my two friends were like, "Hey, join our private match," kind of like to get me accustomed to the game. I specifically remember it was War Machine. I walked down the steps, and the two of them were waiting there as Locust, and they were like, "Try and hit us," and I was like here trying to like follow them with my Lancer with the lowest sensitivity in the game, and it was awful. But and the game felt very intimidating then. I don't know what it was about it. Like I guess the War Machine, the darkness, you know, the gritty chainsaw,
Game.
All of that stuff. Like your first impression of Gears of War ever, it's a very intimidating game. And then I jumped in a few games with them, and I was like awful, like god awful. I'm still not much better today, but you know, like god terrible. Like never even thought about like competitiveness in games before, that kind of thing. And I actually didn't like it in the beginning, so I'd say I put it away for like a month. And then I came back. I came back to it again, and loved it. Was just hooked. I don't know what it was. I don't know what changed in my mind about it. I think I had played through the campaign with my friend. He brought me through and really kind of did a good job of explaining things to me, and kind of like baby stepped me through it. Like we went through on each difficulty. Like we didn't just go from casual and then jump to insane, or did insane right away. Like we did casual, hardcore, insane, like baby stepped me through it. And yeah. I think I fell in love with it then. It was the characters and stuff like that, and I was like, okay, I'm willing to give multiplayer another try, and I really got hooked from that point forward, honestly.
Yeah, I'm kind of the same way. I tried multiplayer really close off the beginning. I switched over from Halo, was one of the first main multiplayer games I played. Went and played Gears, got trashed, so I went and played campaign, and campaign's where I started to fall in love again. And then my friends and I decided, hey, let's try out this multiplayer thing again. And definitely glad I did that.
Yeah, no, I'm as well. I never thought like you could enjoy a game franchise for a decade. Like that's insane to think about. Yeah.
Well, coming back to Gears has certainly seemed to pay off for you. It seems like it's pretty much your primary thing that you do on YouTube and Twitch now, and you just hit the 30,000 sub mark. Right?
I did. Yes, I did.
Congratulations on that,
yeah.
Man.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's I don't think this is the wrong way. I'm very satisfied with that. But like when I always planned on doing like milestone celebration videos, but I felt like that I wasn't, because I've only gone daily. Of course, I've missed days, but you know what I mean. Like pretty much daily since like the past 2 years, I think, is kind of when I've been taking it really seriously. And that's where I've started to see the kind of build up and pay off more so than anything. And now I'm kind of proud of what it is. So now I'll start kind of celebrating. Like I was, do you know what I mean? Like it feels weird to say that I'm disappointed with 20,000 subscribers when I was, but I was like, I can do better than this. But now I can safely say at the pace I'm going at, I can happily enjoy those milestones now.
Nice. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. So speaking YouTube type stuff, you also run the Gears Clip of the Day channel, right?
I do, yes.
So how did you get started with that, or was that before or after you started doing a bunch of gear stuff on your main channel?
Um, so as far as I'm aware, Gears Clip of the Day existed. This is bad because I own the channel now, but as far as I'm aware, Gears Clip of the Day existed before, like I've always been around, like since 2000, late 2007, like is when I kind of started looking into YouTube, that kind of thing. So I've always been around and participated in the community, just in a lower frequency back then, kind of thing. But I believe Gears Clip of the Day existed like as I was doing my thing with smaller channels or whatever. But it was, I don't even remember the year they gave it to me. It seems like a really long time ago now, but I had run a community channel called Cinema 5. I don't know if you're aware of that.
That sounds familiar, but I don't recall it.
Yeah, this was like kind of during the period post Gears of War 3, Gears of War leading up to Gears Judgment, post Gears Judgment, like the kind of like the struggle days for content on YouTube for Gears of War. So basically, Gearsopedia went dark. There was I don't know what happened with the owners at the time. There was nothing for us to participate. Like Gears Clip of the Day wasn't really a thing either. I don't think it was there, but not in a super frequent way because it's only been posting clips again since 2011. It basically it had a run with previous owners, and then the owners came back in like in February of 2011. So basically, we had this period of like kind of like nothingness where nobody had anywhere to kind of sorry, to feature themselves.
Okay.
And so we came up with this idea for this community channel, but we wanted to have it really like high standard video, like not someone's scrap clips or something like that. Like we wanted it to be really nice. And the way it was structured is that we had kind of like featured players or sponsored players that would be associated with the channel. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
And yeah, we had like in-house editors. So basically, if someone had really good footage, they could approach the channel and say, "Hey, I have this really good footage, and I'd love to be featured on the channel or be part of it." And then we would get the in-house editor to, put the video together, and it would be featured on the channel, and it would be really good, and people would love it and celebrate it and that kind of thing. And so it's my experience with that channel, and that's kind of brushing over a long history with that channel. But it was my experience with that channel was when I found out that the owners, the previous owner was called Stacks. I'm not sure if you know who he is. Blame Stacks, he was known as at the time. But he basically he was getting flooded with college and all kinds of things, and life was just kind of very busy for him at the time, and he felt like he couldn't hold on to the channel, and I was like Cinema 5 was kind of dying down at the time anyway, and I was kind of like, I don't trust. I'm like I like that. I feel like it's a mistake for him to give it to somebody because I was saying I don't trust anybody with it. If you understand what I mean, because they could use it for self gain or could be really really biased and that kind of thing. Which would have been the downfall of the channel, because the whole idea of it is to be Gears Clip of the Day, like every day expect a clip, that kind of thing. And so I was like, man, I'll take it. And he said instantly yes, which I was sort of surprised at, but not at the same time. It was the experience I had built up doing Cinema 5, so he obviously trusted me with it. And so ever since he gave it to me, I've not missed a single day. There's been late clips and stuff like that. Like there's been connection problems. There was a time where I was at E3 and I couldn't access the channel and things like that. Like there's been close shaves, but every day has been made, and every day has been represented with a clip of Gears of War since February of 2011. So
yeah, I see those tweets every day with the Gears Clip of the Day, and there's some amazing clips on there.
It is. It's important, and I will use this to kind of address something. There is. I won't gloss over the fact that there is kind of a toxic side to the Gears community. And the channel has this kind of issue where if someone doesn't like somebody, they get all their friends to dislike the clip and stuff like that. And they, the comments full of very negative stuff. And the only thing I'll say to that is that you guys are shooting yourselves in the foot at the end of the day. Like I try my best to kind of, give positive reinforcement to everybody, but like there's only so much I can do in that regard. It's kind of like up to that community to kind of decide where it wants to be.
Right, yeah, you're
At the
trying
end
to
of the day.
promote the community, and if they're downvoting because they don't like someone in the clip, then it's just hurting the promotion that your channel's offering. Even when, say, they get offered or they get featured later, it's going to hurt them down the line.
Yeah, it hurts it overall. I feel like I know it sounds obvious, but they need to be behind each other if they want each other to get up there and the Gears community to expand into what we believe is going to be a 10-year cycle for Gears of War.
Yeah.
I feel like getting behind it, like Gears Clip of the Day, it's there for you guys. You know what I mean? Like it's not to benefit me. It doesn't do anything for me. It's just there to promote you guys, and that's all I can say. I really wish that when a clip goes up that you just be supportive no matter what. I understand people have beef and stuff. Maybe if you see the name in the sub box of someone you don't like, maybe don't watch it. Maybe leave it at that. But that's all I can say. And sorry to use your show as
No, that's fine.
a way to address that. It's just something I haven't addressed yet, and I really should, honestly. But
Yeah. All right, well, let's see. I've got plenty of other YouTube questions for you, but I think to not make this last forever, we should transition into one of the things that you brought up.
I don't think you should be afraid of length, man. I'm totally fine with going on. That's good with me.
All right, we'll come back to this next topic then. So the next thing I was going to say is sort of hinting back to what you discussed earlier with the whole coding type thing. YouTube can have, or being a content creator can have a bunch of perks, but like you said, sometimes it could feel like you're trapped and there's some downsides. So what do you think some of the biggest downsides that people don't realize are about being a content creator?
It's hard work. Like people don't. I've heard this answer before, but people don't see behind the scenes. They don't see that like as soon as I wake up, I have to check and see if there's news and all that kind of thing, and research things, and like any kind of theories I have to put that all on paper and make it into like a cohesive video. So I'm writing that. I'm trying to go and play through the campaign so I can get like nice cutscene footage. Like I'm not just going onto YouTube and ripping it off of there or anything like that. Like I make sure it's nice. There's a lot of work to it, and so it's kind of like you wake up, you have your breakfast, you take care of yourself, that kind of thing, and then you're right into getting online and getting a gameplay with new content that might be out. Doing that research and all that kind of thing. And some of it says that doesn't sound too hard, but like it's a lot of time. Like your whole day is gone by the time you're done. Like for me, it's a wake up, have your morning ritual, do your research, your editing, all that kind of thing. Then it's rendering, and me working with like a not so great PC at the moment. The render takes a while. And then once that video is out, it's like, it can be like 9 p.m. and later. Yeah. And then you have to get right into streaming. And then once you're done streaming, it's into bed and rinse and repeat. And it can be like that. It can be, and especially on days when there's a lot of content, you don't talk to your friends. You're in your own bubble.
Yeah, it can be a lot of work. And I think one of the biggest things about it is it's not 5 days a week. It's like every day you're pretty much in this same cycle of you need to stay on top of things.
And you sort of get addicted to it. You get addicted to, being daily and being punctual with your content, your upload, because it's satisfying to see results of hard work, like with a view count and stuff like that. But I will admit this, that I'm definitely I definitely don't give myself enough of a break. Like I kind of feel guilty about taking a break, and I shouldn't. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if I take a day off, I'm like, oh, but that could be, I could get like, maybe I might get more subscribers today because there's a certain thing happening or whatever. So, it's kind of like about being knowing when to be responsible, if you get it. Yeah.
So I guess those are some of the downsides. A lot of people don't realize it. So that's one of the reasons I like to bring that up, is a lot of people just don't realize that there really are downsides to being a content creator.
Yeah. Like it's research, recording, production, and then like the rendering, and then putting out the video, and then like doing the annotations, doing the description. Like there's a lot to it. Like it's not just recording and putting out the video. Like it's not as simple as that.
Yeah. But with all that said, there's also some really cool stuff that comes out of it. So I guess what would you say the most rewarding thing for you or what's the most rewarding thing that's happened or you've gotten to do as a result of being a content creator?
I mean, there's stuff that comes along with progress, like getting a Twitch partnership, which is amazing. Just the idea of that,
Yeah.
And then seeing the growth. But I think the kind of like the trophy for me was getting to go to E3 and seeing like a game be two games be revealed in front of my eyes that I've of a franchise that I've been such a fan of my whole life, kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
And I was just like wow, like, this is incredible. I like it was kind of like the pinnacle for me. Like I'd spent so much time like being excited for E3 over the years, and you know, looking up to people like Rod Ferguson and Cliff Blazinski, and then getting to be kind of in that environment and getting to meet and talk to these people from the industry is definitely a standout moment for me, and definitely kind of that would be my top
Yeah.
tier thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been to PAX, Comic Con, E3, any of those things.
Nothing.
No, I've been to a couple like esports events, like some
Okay.
of the ones local here. I live pretty close to Columbus, so I've driven over to MLG Columbus and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I would love to go to E3 sometime. Hope it's open to the public now, so maybe
It is.
not this year, but maybe next year I'll try to take some time off work and go out there.
Yeah, I think you should. It's something people should experience, and I'm I think fortunately I got to experience kind of the last year where everyone was there, because you know that like EA and Activision are moving out to do their own thing now, and now it's open to the public. So I'm really curious to see
Like how
what's
it,
going to happen with it
yeah.
now. Yeah, how it's going to be. Yeah.
All right. So here's the other big topic to talk about in this little interview type thing is so as some of you might have seen, depending on when this video gets posted, we had a big community stream where me and some of the other people in the community discussed some of the topics about what transparency in the community, the relationship with developers, stuff like that. Because I didn't want it to be too crowded and full of too many people, it essentially first come first serve, trying to fill the different roles of community members. So unfortunately, Pete here didn't get in on that, but he is a valuable community member, so I wanted to discuss some of these things with him. So I guess to start off, what are some of your thoughts on like the split in the community? We have, I mean, first there's competitive versus casual, and then at the same time there's like forums versus Twitter versus YouTube, stuff like that. Like, what do you think that does to the community, or do you have any thoughts on it?
No, it is hard to give like an overall opinion of it because there is so many splits. Like I think it's all about choice. People want a way to get their information. And what I will say is that as we're recording this, like not too long ago, the coalition revealed the community hub, and I think that is a massive step in the right direction. Like I was really shocked to see that was like a thing. I didn't think that was something that they were ever gonna do. It didn't cross my mind.
I think it's great. I do hope that they stick with it, though. I hope it's
Yeah.
supported.
Yeah, because it's nice to know like that in those periods where it does get kind of quiet, that you can look at the calendar and see, okay, between here and here, we're not sure exactly what's happening, but we know that more is coming on the way, kind of thing. So I think that like that in particular is a great way to kind of unite the community. We we always look back at like ever since Gears of War 3, we've been asking for that. Like remember we had the calendar,
The
in Gears
in-game
of War
calendar
3.
that
Yes.
wasn't used.
Yeah, in the beginning it was though, right? Like very, very briefly, it kind of like listed it was there for the DLC cycle. Now that I think about it, essentially
That's
is
the
what
only
it was.
reason it was there.
Yeah, that's the only reason it was there, and we were talking about like its potential of what it could be used for, and that's sort of what the in-game message board is in Gears of War 4. So the coalition kind of took that feedback on board and implemented that into Gears of
Definitely.
War 4 itself, right? Which is really nice. But the community hub is kind of like that extra step where like everyone can can access it. So people who aren't necessarily on their computers or whatever, or just aren't like on the game and all that kind of thing, can access
Yeah.
that information. And it's kind of like a source where everybody from every community can go to, because there were times where like there was information that would go up that would be in a forum post in some sub forum on the forums that I wouldn't know about. And I'm someone who has my ear to the ground quite a lot. Like, I'm listening for these things and
Right.
looking out for this stuff. And even I wouldn't know about it. But I feel like this in particular is something huge. Like, it's way big. Like, it may be a small thing to look at, like, oh, it's just another page. But it's something that's kind of front and center on their homepage, and everyone can see it. And I feel like that kind of thing is a step in the right direction to unite those communities. Like, the community highlight stuff is great. That's something they started to do a couple of years ago. I was actually on the
Yeah,
spotlight
you were
thing.
one of the first spotlights on there,
Yeah,
but they only did like 3 of those or something like that.
they did. They did. Myself, Arkin, and Parasidian, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it went. Then they stopped doing that from there because I think they were dealing with like trying to get esports off the ground with Ultimate Edition and stuff like that.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, it's that type of thing where I really hope, I think the community page is great, but I also thought those things were great. I just hope the community page is something they stick with.
I think they will. It looks
Yeah.
it looks something that they can consistently use, and it's nice for them. It's also a place for them to like curate their own content at the same time. Like, they can put the releases that they worked hard on, and put it somewhere where it looks structured in that sort of sense. So it benefits both in a certain sense to make things easier for both parties. So yeah, like, but in terms of, like, I know the question goes a lot deeper than that, with like competitive and core and that kind of thing. And like, this is a whole nother conversation with that, but like, I'm looking for that united weapon balance. I don't know about you, but
Yeah.
like, I think, I don't know, I legit don't know anybody that was like, that sounds like a good idea when we first heard it. And that's not, and I'm not trying to sneer or anything. Like, I'm just being like this. I'm like, God, but from the get-go, it doesn't make any sense, because it's 100% going to create a split. Like, what's the point of a new player coming into the community, right? Playing the game modes that they know and love from other games, like Team Deathmatch, King of the Hill, like all that kind of stuff, right? And then they're like, wow, I really enjoy this game. I want to step up and like, take it to the next level, kind of thing. So they join competitive and like, wait, I have to learn the game again from scratch, kind of thing,
Yeah.
which creates an issue there. And I don't know any other game where you have to do that. I like League of Legends, CSGO. They're all playing the game mode and the set map rotation and the balance of the pros. Like, that's what the casual players are playing. It's just they're being placed in lower ranks, and then when they get better, they get placed in higher ranks. That's kind of the way I look at it. So a universal weapon balance only makes sense to me.
Yeah. I think almost everyone outside of the coalition would agree with that. And I mean, obviously they have their reasons for it. I don't completely agree with them, but I mean, they have their reasons. And like you said, it's splitting the community. We've had this competitive community that's been completely split off from the casual people for quite a while. I thought we were like getting closer. We were coming back together with Gears 4, and then all of a sudden this bombshell dropped of, oh no, there's gonna be split tuning, and that just like completely fractured the communities, I feel.
In some ways, yes, but I will say that I feel like the coalition has done a good job of uniting, more so than Epic did, the esports and the competitive guys. Like, I know their names. You know what I mean? Like, back
Right.
then, I didn't know their names. Like, I didn't know who they were, and that's not me being obnoxious or anything like that. Like,
Right.
just legit didn't know that. It was so separate at the time that I just genuinely didn't know.
That's a good point. They are supporting the esports crowd now, which it's not just the fact that they're supporting it and there's an esports league, but because they're supporting it through all of their official channels and stuff, we as the hardcore casual community are seeing all of that, and we're getting to know esports better.
And what's wild is that like, I kind of sort of I went to Hypefist Station Winter Brawl 9, so I got to kind
Oh,
of,
were you there? I was there.
yeah. Oh, were you? Oh shit. Okay, that's kind of I got to to know some of them and see their faces kind of before that promotion started to happen. So it's kind of nice to see. It's weird because when you get to know someone like that, like I'm fairly close with like Fatal Strike, so getting to see like his face beyond stuff and like all that kind of thing is so strange. Like I'm just kind of like, whoa, that's kind of crazy to see like that level of promotion versus what they had.
Yeah.
Like so you were at Winter Brawl Night, so going from that hotel room, the
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, but like that hotel is awful. But the like going from that to what they're doing now is leaps and bounds in
Oh
comparison to
yeah.
what it was. It's insane.
Yeah.
Like I'm very happy for the esports crowd. I
Yeah.
think they deserve it.
there I think there's a decent way that they still have room for improvement on the esports side, but I mean it is just leaps and bounds better than what it used to be.
Yeah, I think my only criticism of it now is uh their scheduling. Like I hate that I only have like a month's notice to maybe go to a LAN or something like that, that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
that's a whole nother thing. But like that's my only real criticism of it. I think the way they're going is nice. I would have some questions about is escalation the only mode they want for esports, and that's a whole nother thing. But yeah, but overall, I think it's headed in the right direction. And I think that like numbers from recent streams definitely help. Like they had 20K viewers for a fight night, which is
I do
pretty
think those were
crazy.
slightly inflated due to weapon skins and stuff like that, but
I do, but it is genuine growth. I see. Like once the skin goes up and it settles, like it went back to like down to like 15,000 something like that. You know what I mean? So like it is settling, and people are sitting and staying and watching. There will be people that will come in and want the skins, but there's some people who are like, oh, this is fun to watch. So
especially those last few matches during this last one. I don't know if you saw it, but it was like 6-3, and they came back and tied it 6-6, went into around 13. It was
okay, so well, unfortunately for me,
it's really
the
late for you.
yeah, as I'm saying with scheduling, is that the European crowd and UK crowd kind of get you know shafted in
Yeah,
terms of times because it's like it's in the AM for us, like so like I'm like give me this skin so I can go to bed kind of thing, and not out of like I don't want to watch, I'd love to watch, I'm just dead tired kind of thing.
right. Let's see. So shifting gears back a little bit towards something you said on the community website was how they could use it to sort of promote what they're doing as a studio
Yes.
or things coming up. Do you
Hmm.
think that we have an issue right now with communication and transparency where it seems like most of the communication we're getting is a hey, here's this next DLC that's coming up, or here's this event coming up, and there's not enough. I like to use the word transparency, but there's not enough dialogue of here's what's going on behind the scenes. Hey, we want to have a legit conversation with you, or hey, we're taking feedback, that type of thing.
I think transparency might be the wrong word because I've seen Adam or PezRadar for those watching on multiple occasions. Like if people ask him, he'll answer and he will say it if he can, kind of thing. Like obviously there's the powers that be above that make it so that they can't say some stuff, but like when they can say something they will say it, and like it's none of that comes down to like I see people giving Adam and Liam shit like all the time, but
Yeah.
it's not their fault at all.
Right,
Like
yeah,
they
I'm
say
not
what they
definitely not
can when
trying to
they can.
blame them,
Yeah.
but
No, and I didn't think you were. I was just kind of like it's what I've seen on Twitter and stuff. People give them a lot of crap, and I don't think they deserve it. But yeah, it's a tough one. I think they do definitely incorporate things they want to talk about with a big push because I think they think if they put out something small that people won't see it. So what they like to do is they like to use the momentum of something big like a locust pack or something like that to tell the small stuff. Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
I think that's their thinking behind it, but I think they also shouldn't be afraid to do smaller releases at the same time because the people who want to know will look at it. You know.
because I guess so. There's things like let's take the Run the Jewels pack for example. Like, so
Mm,
first of all, I have nothing against them removing those lines. I don't care. I didn't like the lines that were removed to begin with, but
okay.
they kind of put that in as a ninja update. They didn't let people know, and then people just had to sort of like dig for that, and then once people dug and found that out, it wasn't explained very well, or the places it was explained was like 10 posts deep in a Reddit thread or something like that. So it's something where the information just doesn't seem like it was displayed publicly enough to make people informed.
Yeah, I think with that in particular, I think it could be due to it being a controversy and that they might not want to blow it up in that kind of regard.
Yeah.
And like I myself, I was kind of salty. I was like, I thought like what the character said was "fuck boy spotted," right? I don't know if you mind me cursing on the show, but and so it sounds hilarious. Like I don't know, like there were the first time I got the character to spot someone, he said it on my stream, like I was dying laughing, and so the stream erupted, and nobody thought anything bad of it.
Right.
But there are people out there that were offended by it, and I understand that they're like, I'm not gonna lie and say that I've never been offended by anything, because that's not true. There are certain things that get to certain people, and the word just so happens to have like multiple meanings, like a lot of meanings. And so I understand it, but I also think that with Gears being a rated M game, that they shouldn't need to succumb to smaller.
Yeah.
A small vocal voice like that of people saying that's offensive, because there's plenty of offensive things in video games.
I mean, so I do think
it's so minor.
I do think it's pretty dumb that the line got removed, but I thought the lines were stupid to begin with. I mean, they were funny at first, but I felt like they were used way too much. I thought they were sort of dumb, just shouldn't have been there to begin with. But
I think it could have been a bit of improv from LP, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, I think the whole removal due to them being sensitive thing was kind of strange. But then, I mean, at the same time, we have things like the Halloween packs. Do you remember those were out for money but not credits, right?
I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I remember you mentioned it.
Adam posted offhand in a Twitter conversation, and I spoke to him at MLG Columbus, and he was able to explain in detail, hey, that was a mistake. They were supposed to be for credits. They went out without us knowing. We weren't able to fix it in time. That type of thing. So people weren't informed, and they didn't know that, so they just started complaining, and I feel that leads to toxicity in the community because the community's not informed.
Okay.
So that's kind of where I'm coming from on some of it, as well as feedback. I feel like if we're more informed about what's going on behind this, obviously there's things they can't tell us, but if we're more informed about some of the stuff that they're planning on changing, or how they plan on changing things, we can provide feedback, and that feedback will be more relevant than if we have no idea what's going on, and it will allow them to drive to like a solution that makes us happier in the end.
Yeah.
So
makes sense.
So yeah, those are just some of my thoughts on it. Obviously, this stream that we have and that I post up on the channel is going to go into a lot of detail about that type of stuff. But yeah, I feel pretty strongly about a lot of community stuff. I'm very opinionated when it comes to that.
I've noticed.
Let's see. Are there any other topics you want to talk about?
No, nothing really. Like, I mean, I'm pretty happy with the progress that's being made. Like, communication is something that I feel like was a debate that was going to come out anyway. But as I was saying, with the community hub coming out, I feel like, as I said, that's a step in the right direction. That's something I'm happy to see. I'm happy to see the growth of the esports scene. I'm happy to see them showcasing creators on their thing. It's just a matter of like, if that's something that's going to be consistent, like that's amazing. Like I don't see a lot of developers don't do that kind of stuff. It's very rare to see it. I think like my friend Drew or like Butter, he gets showcased a lot by Ubisoft Massive and stuff like that, and that's always great to see. And I love that they're not afraid to showcase like smaller channels. Like I love that they were tweeting out Shadows and Dutchie's streams with the GIFs and stuff. I think they featured you on the. Are they calling it Community Spotlight now? Are they continuing that name, or is it called something else?
I don't know. They only did that once, like the February Spotlight thing. I think
they said it's going to be monthly or something like that.
We haven't seen the March one yet. It's almost the end of March, so hopefully we get one. But yeah, the consistency is a really big thing. There's a lot of things that communities asked for like a stream or blog post, spotlights, type things like that. And they've done a lot of those things, but it's only been like one or two off. I really hope that they do stick with some of these things because there are a lot of good things that they're doing. We just need to make sure that they keep going.
Yeah. What I will say is that one thing that Epic did that I really loved, and I think that people really latched onto. Remember the Thursday streams they used to do for Judgment? Remember those?
Yep.
Yeah. I feel like something like that would be nice.
Yeah, no, I definitely
Like,
remember those. I was the
it's
guy who collected all the questions that they had. Like, I made
oh yeah.
all those threads that they printed out with all the questions.
Oh, okay.
Those were my threads. So.
Okay. All right. But like I love how personal that felt. Because like, I'm fortunate enough that I do have a direct line to a few of the developers, which is really nice, and I can call a couple of them my friends and stuff. But I feel like that if there's kind of a direct contact in a live stream like that where people can directly answer a question, that's nice, you know, because Twitter is nice and it feels very personal, but it does feel like a sort of a wall at the same time. So I think maybe something like a live stream like that, like they did Periscope stuff
They did
consistently
a couple
before
Rockcasts.
launch.
Yeah.
That was nice. I did like that kind of thing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's going to do it for this episode. If you guys, viewers, want to get to know TheRazoredEdge or Pete even more, be sure to check out his streams. I'm going to have all the social media links down below.
Okay.
So I guess you're on a fairly normal stream schedule now, right? So where could people catch you?
Well, you say normal stream schedule, yet I've been like incapacitated. You might have heard the cough during this, and I apologize, everybody. It's just like for whatever reason, I just get like a fit of coughing. I think we only have to cut this video like one time, maybe. But yeah, everything social for me is TheRazoredEdge on like absolutely everything. I think the only thing I don't have my social or TheRazoredEdge on is PlayStation Network, but everything else like Instagram, Twitter, everything is all TheRazoredEdge. Yeah.
All right, nice. So once again, everyone, I'm going to have those in the description. Be sure to go check those out. He has pretty much daily YouTube stuff on his channel, and then the Gears clip of the day. He does all of his streaming when he's not incapacitated.
Do you mind if I say something about Gears clip of the day, though? Something I've really wanted to do was kind of a lot of montagers is kind of what we regard them as, are like people who specifically play Gears of War to record clips, like send in their clips, and they're kind of like the regulars. I'd love to see more of a participation from people who do hit those, like, holy shit, like, you know, people who don't go for clips, but they hit it
with
and
those
record it with
Xbox record that type thing.
Yeah,
now.
Exactly. And so maybe submit it like that. I think maybe I should make a tutorial on how to submit like via your Xbox One. You can actually, I'll say it briefly now, you can submit if you can upload to OneDrive via your Xbox One and then get that link and email it in. Like, that's a way you could do that. And I believe you could actually hit share and type the email and not even have to actually type an email. It would just be a submission in that regard. So maybe think about that. I'd love to see more participation from kind of like the casual audience, I'd say.
That'd be cool. Mm-hmm. All right. So that's going to do it. Thanks again for joining me today, man. It's always nice to talk to you and everyone in the community. It's nice to get to know people a little bit better.
Sure, man. Thank you for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
So, viewers, thanks for watching, and I will catch you guys later.
Bye.